This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Hey, Bruce.
Hello, Jody.
How are you?
I'm very good.
Yes, you look good. No.
Thank you. Thank you.
You look good, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about some traveling mishaps, horror stories, funny stories, stuff like that.
The traveling when you're a bigger person is already fraught with lots of frustration and fear, and
It definitely can be, yes.
yeah. So we're kind of taking some of that, talking a little bit about that, but also talking about just some of the experiences we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I've done not a ton of traveling. We've done a lot of like cross country road trips, Bjorn and I, or halfway, whatever, like from Minneapolis to California a couple times, and then like Dallas, and then all this different traveling for Bearskin, like going to different shows and stuff like that. But we bought like a brand new car a few years ago, specifically because we knew we were going to be taking these trips, and we're like, okay, we need a new car to be doing this kind of stuff. And something that will be able to haul all this underwear cross country, because it's cheaper than shipping all that, anyways.
Right.
So we got a new some Mitsubishi Outlander thing from White Bear Mitsubishi over in Minneapolis area. So
Nice.
Shout out to them.
Yep.
We're very happy with them. Anyways, so we were driving for some big show. We drove from Minneapolis all the way to Palm Springs. It was fine. Stopping at all the, touristy things, taking our picture with the dog, doing those cutesy things that make the trip that much longer. But you got to get out of the car and stretch your legs once in a while. But from when we drove from Palm Springs, we were driving to Dallas for another show. Somewhere, I don't know where exactly in Arizona, we got rear-ended in this brand new car that we've had less than a month.
Oh.
It's full of all of our stuff, but it's still drivable. It's like technically fine, but it's all, the back end is smashed in, like like horrible. And I'm like, what are we gonna? But it was weird because the glass didn't break in the back window. I was like,
Wow.
How is this? Okay, sure, cool. So we're like, okay, do the exchange of information, do all that stuff. And we're like, okay, we got to get going. So we continue driving to Dallas. We stopped at some other Mitsubishi dealership because, in Dallas, the roads are really horrible.
Sure.
We hit a pothole, and that's when the back window just like exploded.
No.
That was that was scarier than like getting hit, I think, because we're already like kind of on edge and like cranky because of all this stuff, and just exploded when we're going down like the highway or something. Oh my God, that was scary. So, because I'm like, what flew out the window now? I don't even know if we lost anything. So we do our thing for the weekend, get the back window taped up, and we drive it all the way back to Minneapolis.
Oh.
It was probably the worst I think it was 2 days. I think we did that in.
That would suck.
Yeah. It was so loud and like just obnoxious.
Oh no. Yeah.
Like driving highway speeds with
the window
with a plastic thing on the back.
Yeah.
Oh man. So the car was totaled.
Oh.
When we, because it
Right. What
wrecked,
can they?
I don't know what it did, but so we ended up getting the exact same vehicle again, just like traded in for the new one. But it was like, hadn't even had it a month and it totaled it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that was a fun adventure. One of our road trip stories was fun.
Nice.
Nothing big bodied specific, but it was a very traumatic experience for us.
Yeah. So we've talked about like flying and dealing with that. One thing that we haven't specifically discussed with flying is like when you end up in the middle seat in the row.
That's the one I prefer.
Yeah, is it? You love that? Oh, nice.
You gotta get cozy.
Yeah, right. That can be the worst because you're getting in there, you're hanging over the sides of the seat, you're hoping that the people who sit next to you are going to be okay with this, and it's always like seatmate roulette. You never know if you're actually going to end up with somebody who's cool with it or somebody who's just like, eh. And I've certainly had both.
Yeah.
Do you do anything like
you get like in that weird like straight jacket sort of position, or at least I do. I'm like trying to hold my arms and like not take up but I'm still big, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
But that's I like cross my arms and just like try to nap or lay there and
right. Yeah, you try not to take up too much extra space, but what are you going to do, Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry, you just gotta have to deal with it. Like
I kind of lay it out to them. I'll say something, like,
try to make light of it.
We're gonna be cozy. You're gonna be close this time around, something like that. But I mean, and most people are cool with it.
They can fly first class if they don't like it.
That's true. They can just upgrade.
Yeah,
yeah. And most
or
people
they could just pay for my upgrade. I'll go
they could, which would be even better.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people are cool.
Yeah,
most of the time, people are okay with it. There are sometimes that they're not, and you just kind of. You kind of try to make it work. But yeah, like trying to hold your body in for like a 5-hour flight.
Right? Like don't move, don't breathe. Right. Don't.
I generally do not try. I won't, like, regardless of where I'm sitting, I don't get out of my seat that often.
Yeah.
My body will start feeling that toward the end. And so it's like, no, you got to stand up at least. So, but I try not to because, for me, my preference is always like the aisle. Just because you can hang over that. If I get hit by the tray, cart. The cart, whatever, I'm fine with that. That's the price of doing business. So whatever. But when you're stuck in the middle, you just kind of try to make the best of it. It's
not the most pleasant, but I haven't had any bad experiences with it. I guess like I said, I try to make light of it. Try to be friendly with the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some pretty, not great stuff, not directed toward me specifically.
Yeah, but I've seen people posting about not so nice people making comments about the person sitting right next to you, like really? Like I can't hear you.
I was on a flight and there was a guy sitting behind someone that I knew that was on the same flight, and the guy was making ridiculous comments about her seat being too far back. Her seat was not back. It was just this whole weird thing. And it was just, that kind of stuff.
Don't understand people sometimes.
Let's talk about something happier.
Okay.
Let's talk about this beer that we have.
Uh-oh. Well, you got us something extra.
Yes.
The Pabst Blue Ribbon Extra.
Oh, yes. So I've seen this in the store, and I've mostly skipped it, which is probably a good idea, probably advisable. But this time it just felt right for this episode, for this conversation. It felt like we needed to talk. We needed to have a beer that was, right for the conversation.
Yes. So this is the PBR Extra. So it's a 6.5 alcohol by volume. So it's a higher alcohol content. So it's still malty, smooth, the American lager.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
PBR. And it's in a black can with a blue label on it.
Yeah. So it's got the Pabst logo, but it's a black can. And it is basically, if you, if you don't feel like your Pabst has been strong enough in the past, this is the beer for you. So that's kind of their thing.
Someone wrote, "This is a whole different animal. It has body and mouthfeel like a terrific lager with a terrific lager taste. I will definitely buy this again."
Yes. It tastes like Pabst.
All of the shiftiness of PBR, but with more booze and more malt.
Yeah. I'd say it's what I like about PBR.
Which is nothing.
I'm definitely a fan of those.
The PBR tall cans
lowbrow
beers. They have their time and place. I have definitely had plenty of them.
Yeah, there are so many of those kind of beers.
I love this photo of someone taking a picture in Vegas at the Cosmopolitan drinking that. I think that's
Nice.
hilarious.
Very classy.
So make sure that you're following along with all of our beer that we're drinking on Untapped. You can follow the Heavy Conversation list.
Yes.
I think I'm actually going to rate this one kind of high because, if you're going to drink PBR, have a little bit more booze in there.
It is just like a more robust PBR. I mean, yeah, you can definitely.
Yeah, it is good though.
Yeah, I like it. You're going to get the job done.
I might have to come back to a PBR tall
If your
can.
job is to drink a higher alcohol.
Yeah, it's not
PBR.
crazy like some of our past ones, but
No,
6.5 is a good. It's a good one.
Right. Yeah. So I have two kind of travel stories that are lodging related, specifically about staying at places.
Okay.
One, I was still living in the Midwest, and I had an interview for a job on the West Coast, and I had been looking for hotels because I was taking care of the hotel. And I found one that was very close to the place that I needed to go, and it looked very nice online. Looked like a great kind of
all
quaint,
the great pictures.
yeah, old school place that had been there for a long time, but it looked really nice. Flew in, got my rental car, drove the hour from the airport to this place I was staying, and it was not as advertised. It was like,
What year were the pictures taken?
yeah, exactly. It was like, it was torn up, and there were people just hanging out in the parking lot, and some of the hotel room doors were open, and there were some bugs and such in the room, like dead things on the floor, and
No dead bodies.
no, thankfully,
I was like,
there
dead
was
things?
there was a weird like spot, like water spot, something on the mattress, on the blanket. I did not have extra money to go and get another hotel, so. And where I was at was not like where there was a ton
there's not
of
a lot
things
of
around.
options.
Yeah, it was like
this
one
is
long
the way,
street.
yeah.
And this is it. Yeah. So I stayed there. I slept in one little spot. Did not move. Got up super early. Got all my stuff together.
You slept? You did sleep?
I slept for a couple hours. Yeah, I had no choice, so I just did it. Got together and headed out, and I ended up getting the job and moved to the area.
Okay.
And I tried many times to find that hotel, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Like,
Got torn down right after you left.
must have been. I was like, is this like a parallel universe where this nightmare place? And it was loud. There was stuff going on outside. There was. I think it was like an extended stay kind of place where people were, but it wasn't advertised as any of that.
Yeah.
It was some frightening stuff.
One of our adventures, we stayed at, I don't even know. So it was in Las Vegas, right, literally across the street from Circus Circus. So not the best end of the strip.
Sure.
We stayed in some little travel lodge because we were just going through, just needed for the night. Oh my God. We hardly slept. It was so loud.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was going to be the next episode of CSI Las Vegas any minute.
Right.
I was like, can we just get back in the car and keep going? Because
so you stayed. And
we stayed. We did stay. But it was, one of those.
I know.
I can't believe we're risking our lives just to get a couple hours of sleep.
And I feel like we should clarify here for anybody listening that it's not like I'm pretty good at sleeping just about anywhere or staying in just about any place, but these places we're
There's a
talking
couple
about,
horror stories. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've stayed in plenty of. I'm trying to think if it's Motel 6 that we normally stay in because they're pet friendly. They don't have a pet charge. I think it's Motel 6.
Yeah. Right.
I can never remember.
Have you ever been on Greyhound before? You ever done the bus?
I have. I believe I did that. Oh man, I was kind of younger. I think one of the.
Same.
Oh man, it's like one of the times I went to St. Louis. I think I want to say because when we lived in Minnesota, and my aunt and uncle and cousin lived in St. Louis. I think I took the Greyhound one time. It was not great.
No, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
I did the Greyhound from Green Bay, Wisconsin to Springfield, Missouri, and it was about an 18-hour trip? 18 or 21 hours.
It was way longer than it needed to be.
Without a doubt.
I'm like, why?
Yeah. I mean, I was very young.
I'm trying to. I'm like, I can't really quite remember it, but I know it was like just stopping at every little podunk phone booth out in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, what are we even stopping here for? Why is there a stop here?
I remember a guy he was on with two ladies, and they were drinking in the back of the bus and celebrating the fact that he had just got out of prison.
Oh no,
and kind of doing a whole thing, and they were on for half the trip, and they were drinking like the entire time. They'd stop at certain stops and get out and
get more,
stretch their legs and grab stuff, and they were well stocked.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember that. There were some interesting characters there, and I just remember it being I brought a couple books, just tried to read.
I can't read in a moving vehicle.
Yeah. I'm generally okay with that, but sometimes it hits me, and it's
I can't. I have to listen to podcasts or audiobooks. We do that a lot on our trips. We what book do we want to listen to?
Right.
Some crazy one.
So this my last big story here is it has to do with Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
Which I will say is normally 99% of the time has been great for me. I've enjoyed it. It's been
Have you done that quite a few times? Or
yeah, I do it a lot for Chubster as we travel and shoot things, and when I'm in different cities.
Okay. I've never done it, so
It's really cool, and it's usually very straightforward and very easy. So I had booked lodging through Airbnb for Sized Up. We were shooting our video series Sized Up, and we were shooting the finale in New York. So we were there over a holiday weekend, and I had it all booked, and it was this really cool looking place that we were going to be able to shoot some of the video at, and had the whole thing, had talked to the host a few times. Then as I got closer, the host wasn't responding, but everything was booked, all that. Fly in, car takes me to Brooklyn, and get out at the address, and there's no building there. There is a community garden at this address. And so I'm thinking, okay, so maybe the address is just a little off. So I look around a little. I'm not seeing anything. I'm trying to call the guy at the number that I have, and I'm trying to, and I'm reaching out through Airbnb. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
I've got all my bags. I've got some of the video equipment, all this other stuff with me.
Standing around in Brooklyn.
My first time in New York. I'd never been to New York before. So get there, and I'm just like, okay, what is going on? So I call Airbnb, and I'm like, hey,
this place doesn't exist.
It's not here. Yeah, and there were people actually gardening in the garden, like somebody who actually kept the place up. And I said, hey, is there like a high-end apartment complex around here, or a loft that, and I showed them the picture, and they're like, nope.
I don't recognize that.
No, of course, they're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. So I call Airbnb, and they're like, oh, well, wait a minute, and give us like 5-10 minutes. We'll try to contact the host. So I wait. I'm standing there on the corner with all my bags, just hanging out, and they call me back about 10 minutes later, and they're like, well, we can't get a hold of them, so why don't you just go have dinner, and we'll see if we can reach them. They give us like an hour and a half. Like, okay. So I went to a little restaurant right down the street, sat down, and had some dinner, had some drinks, waited. It was like, oh my God, and I had 2 other people who were flying in that night that were going to be
staying there.
Okay. Yeah. And part of what we were shooting, we were going to be doing it there. So, finally they get back with me, and they're like, oh, well, we can't get a hold of him. Can you just book something else? And I was like, what? I'm like, I'm not going to book something else, because I paid a whole lot of money for this place. Obviously a really cool place in New York that we'd be able to shoot at least part of the show. I was like, I'm not going to be able to. No, I can't do that. It's not in this budget, And this isn't my fault. This is
you should be.
Yeah. So then they're like, okay, well, we'll get back with you. Then another hour goes past. It's getting dark by this time. I'm standing out on the streets of Brooklyn, because I had left the restaurant because I figured they were going to get it taken care of as we'd kind of been talking. Then I didn't hear anything. Finally, they got back and they were like, okay, see if you can find a place that'll work, and we'll book you in there. So they went ahead and they took care of it. Nice. They refunded me, and we ended up staying in. It was an old church that had been turned into like lofts, and it was awesome. It was so cool, but it was there for a little while. I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing.
Stranded in Brooklyn. Yeah. With all your gear.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So you never know. You never know what it's.
So before you go to the place, Google map it and see if it actually.
Very important.
See the street view, see if it matches. Community garden, high-end loft.
Right. Try to get as much information as you can. And I know that
there's always horror stories with all those kinds of things, but oh my goodness, that would be. Well, so especially in like a big city, you'd never been there.
Oh, I know.
I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, no idea. Didn't know anybody there, so it wasn't like I could be like, hey,
Yeah. We had a fun experience when we went to Palm Springs. One of the times we went to Palm Springs, there's a big bear convergence. It's like a big gathering I think it's in like February.
Okay.
So it's like a big party. It's fun. So, but it's at some fancy hotel in Palm Springs. They're all, pretty high end. And I think it was, I don't remember the name of it. Anyways, probably the most I've ever spent on a hotel stay. It's like hundreds of dollars a night, and we're like, okay, this is going to be cool. Nope. It was under construction the entire time. So like things were closed and they're like painting walls, and they're like I'm like, I can't even get a cup of coffee. Yeah. Like I go to Motel 6, they have like a breakfast every morning, and I'm at this like hundreds of dollars a night hotel, and I can't even get a cup of. They're like, oh, that's $8. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
it's not.
Right. Nope.
Yeah. I mean, it was a learning experience. We definitely discovered more of Palm Springs because we're not spending this money for food and drinks and stuff. So we found this really cool little bistro in kind of downtown Palm Springs. We went there every morning and had breakfast, had quiche, and
Did it have a French name by chance?
It did.
Yes.
Oh, I think I told you about that. Yeah.
We went there too.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Yeah. I really like Palm Springs.
Yeah, I forgot that we told you about that.
We went in June, which I don't advise.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of warm.
Oh, man, it was hot.
February's perfect.
Yeah, it was 104 during the day, and so nobody was out, and we didn't, we went out. We're like, let's go explore, and it's hot as hell, sweating and dying, and just like...
and it's like a ghost town.
Yeah, nobody's out. So it's like, if you want to go somewhere and do something, and not have anybody around you, that's the time to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Palm Springs is fun to go.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That might be one of the places I think I want to retire to, and
that would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm rolling around in my millions.
Yes.
And buy one of those fun houses down there.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there are more
this
stories.
Extra PBR has got me.
It is. It's a little.
I like it.
Robust. Yeah. I would drink more of this. In fact, I will right now.
I know. I was like, should I open another can? I kind of want to open another one.
You probably should, because I was thinking about the same. Yes.
Well, I'm trying to think what other sort of crazy. Oh, camping.
Oh, yeah.
We went camping. We've been camping a number of times. I think I'm kind of done with the actual like tent camping.
Yeah.
My back and the air mattresses and stuff just
not great.
Not getting along.
Yeah.
I need to try some of that glamping or something where it's like more fabulous, like beds and stuff in a big like yurt or something like that.
Yep.
I can't do the tent camping anymore.
I think I really want to do the winter camping that we've talked about in the past. The camping in the snow thing.
Oh yeah. Are you doing that for your birthday?
No, going out to the desert.
Oh, you're doing the RV thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gonna get an RV and go out to the desert and hang out for a couple days.
Winter camping. That doesn't. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in the snow in a tent?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've
Not
seen
in a
this.
lodge?
I've seen it before, like on TV.
I've seen it done on TV. It looks great.
It does. Where they hollow out an area and they have a tent that they put out there, and you're all bundled up, and it's cold as hell, and it looks unforgiving.
That sounds
and
like
horrible.
every day in Minneapolis.
Right. So that's why I want to do
That's why I
that.
moved away from there.
Because I mean, like here, it's
Yeah.
we don't get
It's
enough
gorgeous
snow.
still, and
It is. It
I'm
is.
like, what is going on? This is not winter.
My mom lives in Illinois, and she was like, "Yeah, it's 11 degrees here." And I was like, "Oh, well, that
I know
sucks,
it was like
huh?"
snowing and doing. I'm like,
Yeah,
is it even fall yet?
Right.
I mean, the leaves are falling, but
yeah.
it's still warm out.
Yep.
I do enjoy camping, but it was just rough on
Just
my
kind of
body.
done. Yeah. I would like to, as far as other places to stay. So there's here in Portland, there's a submarine in the river.
can stay
and apparently
in it?
you can stay in it. Yeah, like you can. I don't know what what you have to do to do that, or what it costs, or how that's set
wanna
up.
do that.
I know, me too. I'm like,
That
be
sounds
amazing.
completely uncomfortable.
Totally, it was. I took my oldest kid on the tour, and we went through, and you got to climb in.
Yeah, because they're
and-
like
yeah.
it's cramped,
It is totally, but
especially
yeah.
on like old submarines. I imagine it's even
Yeah.
worse. Is
Yeah.
it a U.S. sub or a Russian one?
It's a U.S.
I
yeah.
want it to be a Russian one.
Yeah, it's U.S. and it's really cool. They have these bunk beds in the thing and all that.
Yeah, that's
so.
what I'm thinking. Like a little bitty,
Totally uncomfortable.
short,
Yeah.
really gross bunk bed.
Yep. So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, I think that's about it. Traveling is it can be great, or it can be
Traveling is
nightmare.
great. You got to make it great,
Yeah.
even when you have those. You have a story to tell
Right.
when those weird, crazy things happen. And
There are some amazing places that you can stay in. I know that I've had great experiences. You know,
I have great
yeah.
traveling. We travel a lot, so
Those aren't as much fun to tell as the horror stories.
yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So, what are you up to, Bruce? What is your? What are you up to?
So what's big for me this
Yeah.
week? I have I've gotten to a point recently where I just like hate all my clothes.
Oh,
And I know that this happens for lots of people, but I end up getting a lot of things through Chubster. Companies send things for reviews. We do stuff for photo shoots. So there's a lot of clothes that are just like here.
Yeah.
And I hate them all. And so I have...
too bad we're not the same size, Bruce.
I know, for real.
Could just swap wardrobes.
It'd be perfect. So I'm just I started liquidating, kind of getting everything out, giving it away, just trying to get things out. And I feel like the more that I'm removing from the house, the more I'm finding. Like there's just so much stuff, and it's
that you
horrible.
forgot about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've started to get some new things from different brands, and there is actually a brand that pleasantly surprised me called Johnny Big, which is out of Australia. They have a lot of different things, and they do some pretty fashion forward kind of stuff. And
You'll have to show me afterwards.
yeah, and I've been super impressed with their, especially like their jeans and some of their joggers, shirts. They've got some good outerwear and some different things like that that are really cool. That that I've been super impressed with. And so it was nice because I was looking at all my clothes and I was just like, I hate all of this.
Yep.
And then this box came that we're putting together a review for.
Okay.
For Chubster, and just started kind of going through it. And I was like, okay, so now here's another place that I can actually shop for some things. I have very few things that are in my wardrobe that I am going to keep, but the vast majority of it, I'm just like, I don't need another flannel plaid shirt.
Yeah.
I don't need, all that kind of stuff. These jeans I'm done with, so nice to find something else. And it's just sometimes finding that thing that you're like, oh wow, there is something else out there that I haven't tried.
Yeah.
And even though I write about this stuff and do all this stuff for Chubster every day, I'm not always thinking about my own personal
Yeah,
style and
You're
focusing on that.
Yeah, whatever they're sending, you're
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, as much as I'd like to act like it is super glamorous, my life is not super
Oh,
glamorous.
come on! I see those racks and racks of clothes.
That's right. So it's
Designer,
Yeah.
couture. No,
not. So most of the time, I'm not like dressing up, and I'm not, it's, I'm wearing things I feel good in, but I'm not like,
yeah.
So
You got still a new little baby, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be getting baby
totally, yeah, baby goo, Yeah.
goo that they always have on
Oh,
them.
constantly, yeah, yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like I think maybe that's part of it is just me being like, okay, well, I haven't really been wearing things that are in my style, so now I need to kind of get back to that.
Gotta find Bruce again.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm taking more steps toward that again and kind of getting there. So
Nice.
yeah.
So I guess I haven't done it yet, but I've been really thinking about this skiing for this year. My partner Bjorn basically grew up on a mountain, and he's all about that. He went to X Games and all that kind of stuff for snow sports. And I'm like, okay, we got all this snow gear and ski gear last year, and I went once. I was kind of scared and apprehensive, but I did part of the mountain. But I'm like, okay, this year we need to go. We need to find a run that is a little easier for me, so I can build up my confidence. And then, so I'm like, okay, we need to start maybe scheduling ski trips or something. I mean, we got this hill,
the big hill,
this big hill down the street here,
Mount Hood, right.
over here. So and it has great ski runs. I'm like, and there's snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we need to just start doing it. So that's my big thing for this fall winter season is to get up on that mountain and ski some more.
I love that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. It's scary fun all at the same time. But then there's a lodge full of beer at the end of it. So
Which is
that's the prize at the end of the. You have to go down at least. Well, I only went down once.
Yeah.
I went down the Bunny Hill a bunch, and I was scared on the big run. So I was like,
you know what we should do? We should they've got up there on Mount Hood. They've got some of those houses that are like way up there, and there's just snow around, and you're in there, and you go up to ski, and you could stay.
yeah, we should do
We
that.
should do that.
Yeah.
I've never gone skiing before.
Okay.
Never done it before.
It's fun.
Yeah, it seems like it would be fun. I'd like to give it a try.
We got a big crew that is really good at skiing.
Nice.
Our crew member over here, she's really good at skiing.
I would want to start with the children. It'd be very important to start with the kids. Someplace
on the Bunny
that I
Hill,
could,
yeah.
yes.
And what is the magic carpet? There's like this conveyor belt thing.
Perfect.
That brings you up.
So I went to the top of Mount Hood on the ski lift like in June, so there was no snow, and it was the scariest thing in my life.
It's still scary
'Cause
when there is snow.
I took my oldest kid, and he was, I don't know, I want to say he was like 6 at the time, and I'm just holding on to him, just like, oh my god,
Did you have a thing that had a thing that came down?
There
or
was
you
a
just,
thing there, but he could have slid.
just
I could have
slid right
slid
out.
under it. It was like okay, and we made it to the top, and then he like slid and fell and cut his knee, and so he's freaking out. We'd gotten up there and he's playing around and he just fell and cut his knee
I
on
thought
the
I was
rock.
like, wait, what?
And he's freaking out, and I'm like, are we really going to take this back down? Are we going to take this possible death trap back down to the bottom of the
Or
mountain?
hike down.
And so I decided no, we were not going to do that, and we hiked down.
Okay.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was horrible. So I would definitely take the ski lift again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's some skiing,
Yes.
some mountains and snow in our future.
And I feel like if you were in the ski lift and you slid out, God forbid, if you slid out,
you would
and
still
fell-
probably break something.
Well, yeah, but
might not
in my
die.
head, it feels like if you're going to land on the puffy snow under there, it's not going to feel
always
good.
puffy, but
No, it's not going to feel good. But
it's still really high. It's scary.
If I
but it's
had-
also really like beautiful and like quiet.
Yeah.
Because you're like up in the trees. It's like weird vantage point. You're like, I'm at the tips of the trees, and it's like cool. And,
man, I really want to go now. I want to
right.
ski.
All right, we're gonna do it.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Well,
Let's finish our beer and go skiing.
yeah, that's great. Get drunk and go skiing.
Perfect. That's maybe it's the other way around. Is that? Yeah.
I think it's both, actually.
right.
All right.
Sure.
Well, thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Jody.
And here's to our skiing adventures, and hopefully we'll be back in a week.
Yes. Hopefully.
Next week, we'll hear from us. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye bye. Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your
podcasts.